Welcome everyone, I'm Judah Ross with the Judah Ross Group, and I'm here today with Brittany Rogers, who is the Senior Vice President for Frontier Bank of Bastrop County, but also, I'm proud to say, a good friend of mine. We've known each other for many years, and I've been wanting to do this interview for a very long time. Brittany is amazing, and I'm excited for our conversation today. But Brittany, if you just want to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your position here and what you do, we can jump right into it.
Sure. My main role with the bank is a commercial lender. And so, day in the life of the banker is, get to work and open up the email and calendar and see what I've got there. If I've got active loans in the pipeline, making sure those are moved along, touching base with existing customers, especially if I've got construction loans going, draw requests, things of that nature. If I'm not actively working on that stuff that's keeping me in the office, then I want to be out and about in the community, whether that be, chamber events or community service, getting out there and representing the bank and meeting new people and potential, new customers and building new relationships.
That's awesome. And we run into each other all the time at chamber events, at events that you host here. You always do a fantastic job. And I think that's one of the things I want to talk about most. What does it mean to be a community banker? How's that different than someone dealing with one of the big national banks? And what's the benefit of creating a relationship like that for a customer here?
Great question. So community banking is all about relationships, and we want to make those relationships for life and see you through all the major things, purchasing a house, starting your business, saving for your kids' college, all those milestone events. And so, working with a big bank, you're just a number, you're a transaction. And it's very difficult, when you need something to get a hold of an actual person. And the thing that I value most about community banking is having those lifelong relationships, being available, getting the things our customer needs quickly, getting answers, on loan questions, or if there's a fraud incident or whatever the case might be, we're here for you and we're on it.
Yeah, I can say we've been able to work together on some deals. We're working on some now, and the difference, as a real estate agent, working with a lender and introducing a lender to my client, the difference between someone working with just to throw out some names, either like a Chase, Wells Fargo, or Rocket Mortgage, and then dealing with a local lender, a local bank is tremendous. The amount of the types of communication, the clarity of the communication, the timeline is always so much better working with someone in the community. And you know
where you stand. You can pick up the phone or send me a text and ask me what's going on, and I'll respond in a very timely manner.
Always. And to me, that's the most important thing, and I find my clients really value that as well. What's a good way, if someone is looking to start that relationship and they want to build a relationship with a banker in the community, what's a good way for them to start? Like, come in, open an account here, set up a time to talk. What's a good?
You hit it on the head.
Yeah.
So the beginning part of a relationship, pick up the phone and call, or schedule a meeting in person, and don't, you can do your due diligence and 2 or 3 different bankers, see what's the best fit for you. But I would say that initial conversation, getting an account set up, if you're looking for loans, getting a loan application in and start collecting that financial information. If you're brand new, trying to get a business off the ground, then having, business plan and projections and things like that prepared for that first meeting.
And I want to dive in to talk about some of the loan products. When I have clients that are looking for commercial loan, a land loan, even for your regular mortgages as well, but specifically land and commercial loans, I always tell them, hey, you've got to go to a local banker. And first thing I'll do is introduce them to you. But can you tell me a little bit about the products? Let's start with commercial loan. So if I have someone who's an entrepreneur, they're maybe looking to buy a building, they want to be part of the growth, their business is starting to grow, they're at a point where they say, hey, I want to really plant my roots here. What are they looking at? What's the process to apply for a business or commercial loan? And let's say specifically to purchase real estate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So that initial conversation is asking what the needs are. And so, okay, if it's just to purchase a building, we're looking at a commercial real estate loan. And typically, that'll be a 20 or 25 year amortization. We're looking for anywhere from a minimum of 15% down if it's an owner-occupied property. It could be more. So to your point about land loans, if it's unimproved land, then we're going to want more money down than if it's an owner-occupied, existing building.
Okay.
So some other things, coming to the table with your historical financials, a personal financial statement. We're going to also want your business financials. Usually people use QuickBooks, and we're very familiar with that. So bank statements, that's another good, that's the kind of the package we want to look at initially to get a feel for where they're at and if they can qualify for what they're looking for.
Okay. And how long would a process like that typically take from start to finish to get an approval? So.
It depends on the size of the loan, to answer the question. So if it's something within my authority to approve, then that could be as soon as 1 or 2 business days.
Okay.
If it's a larger deal and it requires people above me or our whole loan committee, then that could take a week, maybe 2 weeks. We typically meet our loan committee once a month, but the majority of the loan requests are within my authority or with my boss or chief credit officer. Between the 3 of us, we can generally approve most loans. So up to a week.
Okay. That's amazing. Approval. Yeah. Again, going back to that community banking aspect, but you having the authority, and then it's you and a couple other people who you have good relationships with, having that type of speed of getting an answer is really amazing. Now, I'm curious, and we've worked on some deals, and I kind of get an idea of how you do it. But how do you go about assessing the risk for, say, a commercial real estate loan?
Sure. So we're looking at credit quality, cash flow, character. There's the C's of lending.
Okay.
That have been out there for a long time. But mainly, so we collect the financial information. We're wanting on a commercial loan, instead of a debt to income ratio, which a lot of people are familiar with. If you bought a house, that's what the calculation is. On commercial, it's a debt service coverage ratio. And typically most banks want to see 1.25 times or above, that you can pay your debts at least 1.25 times. If it's higher than that, that's fantastic. So really that's one of the key aspects, understand, making sure that they're great in their business, they have the tools and resources that they need to succeed. So for example, a lot of small businesses, when they initially get started, don't have a bookkeeper or CPA, but at some point along the line in their growth, they're going to need that professional. They might need an attorney, they might need most of them will have to have an insurance agent of some kind. So those are the partners that, a bank is going to work with and make sure that they have those pieces in place for their future growth to succeed.
Okay. So you're going to want to see that they have the business set up properly. They're working with the right partners. Yes. That makes you confident that they're going to be successful. Correct.
And their track record as well. So historically,
How many years are you looking for usually with the business?
So 2 to 3 is the pretty standard. And that's, banking wide, that we want to see at least 2 years, typically 3 on the larger deals.
Okay. So. And we touched on it briefly, but can we talk a little bit more about land loans, like what percentage down we're gonna see, how long is amortization? Because a lot of clients that I'm working with here are looking, to buy land, maybe as an investment, maybe they're looking to build it at a future point. But what are you looking for with the land loan?
So if it's a consumer purpose, meaning that the person's buying it and they're planning to potentially build their future primary residence on it.
Right.
That can be as little as 15% down.
Okay.
They can get it on a 15-year or 20-year if they're putting only 15% down, then that's a 15-year. If they're putting 20% down, then we can give them a rate for 15 or 20 years. If they put 25% down, then the rates are progressively getting lower as they put more money in.
Okay. Are those fixed rate for, or it's going to be
So we
variable?
typically fix for the first 5 years.
Okay.
That's pretty standard out. What you'll see in the market right now, fixed for either the first 3 or 5 years is what's out there.
Gotcha.
And then it's, after that, it could be a balloon note where we have it mature at that 5-year, 3-year mark.
Right.
Or we could set on adjusting annually. And we use as our we use Wall Street Journal prime rate.
Okay.
And so that's, other banks could use LIBOR or some other standard, for their base. So.
Love it. I'm learning tons. This is great. Talking about rates, everyone wants to know where the market's heading. Are rates going to come down? Are they going to stay the same? Are they going to go up? And I've yet to find anyone who has a magic 8-ball that's been able to predict it. But what has it been like these past couple of years, specifically with home loans, where it's been higher than normal? And where do you guess things are going to go? I won't hold you to it. But.
Well, so we're fortunate where we live, right? So Bastrop and Bastrop County, Central Texas is a growing market, explosively growing market. And so, while rates are our deterrent, there's still a lot of people that are wanting to buy houses or, build houses, buy a business. There's a lot less of refinancing right now because people want to hold on to those super low rates that they got a few years ago. But the growth is there and people are not waiting to make those moves. So rate-wise, it's been, more challenging the past couple years in that, the rocket, movement of the rates going upward historically, that was tough.
Right.
But now that things have settled down, people are wanting to get out there and make the moves. So,
yeah, I see in my business, it's essentially just become the new normal. People have adjusted to it. Prices have adjusted a little bit, and I think a lot of people they're tired of waiting, and they're saying, hey, there's an
getting off the sidelines.
Yeah, there's opportunities here, so it's worth it to go. And they always have the option, if we ever get crazy low rates again, they could always refinance.
Correct, yes.
And I know you can help them with that. We talked about Bastrop County, so I'd love to hear your insight. You're working with all these businesses, homeowners. Where do you see, from an economic perspective, where do you see Bastrop County in the next decade? What type of growth are we looking at?
Well, we can look to our neighboring counties for, I think Hayes is probably, the first one that we're kind of modeling after, but also Williamson County as far as, what the growth could look like for us.
Sure.
And making smart decisions in our county government and in the city government of the 3 cities in Bastrop County, trying to plan strategically for that growth so that the citizens of the county are not severely impacted by the influx of the people coming in.
Right. Yeah, it's been, everyone likes to talk about Elon and SpaceX and how that's affected the growth. But, what I saw in Bastrop and what I continue to see is, you mentioned Williamson County, Hayes County, and now Bastrop County. And it's really just the geographic pressures that we saw the growth in Williamson. Places like Round Rock, Georgetown were the fastest growing for decades. Then it went down like San Marcos, New Braunfels, Buda. And there's not a lot of land, and there's certainly not affordable land left in those areas. So people are coming here, whether Elon's here or not. But that is always a hot topic. Have you seen since SpaceX, Boring, now Twitter have planted roots here? Have you seen an increased interest from investors of kind of following in their footsteps?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're on the map now. The secret is out.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I have investors literally all over the country, all over the world that are interested in Bastrop County, and the media's been going crazy. Everyone wants to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Tell us about this little community that is on the front page everywhere. Well, I know you're very involved in the community, and you've been living in Bastrop for a long time. To get a little bit more personal, what attracted you to Bastrop when you first moved out here. What do you love most about it?
Sure. So my husband and I are actually about to celebrate 10 years living out here.
Beautiful.
And what drew us here? So we're both Army brats, and we graduated out of the Clean ISD school district, so not far.
Yeah.
And the Austin area was one of our favorite places. And after we graduated from college, we wanted to be in Central Texas. So, and in the Austin area specifically, and initially we moved closer into Austin, but then that was our 5-year let's see where we really want to land. And actually, we went Cedar Creek, and that's not too far from Austin, in between
Sure.
Austin and Bastrop, and found a great little community, bought a lot, built a house, and we really fell in love with our neighborhood, with the community out here, and I wouldn't want to raise my family and go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
it really is special. I always tell people, and when I have clients coming in from out of town to look at houses, I'm like, you have to really experience it. But what makes it so special is the community. It's really the people here. And you were one of the first. We've been out here about 5 years, and you were one of the first people we got to know. And we're just so friendly, and we've continued to remain really good family friends and hang out together. And relationships like that, I think, are what really make this place so special, and are going to continue to make it special, and I'd say maybe even because of the growth. As we grow, I think we're really going to keep that spirit. What are some of your favorite things to do around town? What are some of your favorite restaurants or activities? Not to exclude any, but I always like to ask people that.
Sure. Well, we've got the Colorado River going right through town, so I would encourage people to visit it in some capacity. And
Sure.
there's water activities, or you could go to neighbors and have a meal and overlook the river, or
Yeah.
see a concert. So that's one of the big draws, I feel like, that you want to introduce people to. In our downtown area, we have a great, thriving downtown, lots of small businesses, support local.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to pick just one specifically, but there's lots of great businesses and shops and things here to explore.
Absolutely.
And lots of activities, outdoor activities. So we got McKinney Ruffs down the road, and Bastrop State Park, and so that's what I would say is the outdoor aspect, as well as the great downtown and small businesses. So.
This is awesome, and to be a banker and to be part of that growth, and I'm sure when you get to go into businesses that you've worked with and see them thriving is really rewarding.
Yes. I do what I do.
It's been really fun doing interviews like this. I have people come up to me and say, "Hey, I love your YouTube channel. I love these interviews." So I'm excited to hear what people have to say. But one of the really cool things is I had a kid on my block. He's about 10 years old, really sweet boy, and he came up to me. He's like, "I found your YouTube channel. I really like it. I love all the drone footage. I love everything." And he subscribed to it, which it made my heart melt. But I want to, if there's someone out there that's interested in getting into banking, maybe they're in high school, maybe younger, maybe they're in college. You've had a good career at this point, and have climbed the ranks. You went through all the education. What would you recommend to someone who wants to see themselves in your position in 10, 15 years?
I don't think as community bankers we do a great job of letting people know about the banking careers that are available. I think we could do better getting out to career fairs and spreading the word, and that's on us to do that. But starting off, so there's internship programs that they have, like BISD has that, and so if you're a high schooler just looking to try that, try an internship, and in the internship, the idea would be try to get with as many different people, different positions, and sit with them for a little bit and see what they do. And if you're just out of high school and just need a part-time job, a great starting position is a teller or personal banker. universal banker. They have different names for that. But really what the bank's looking for is that you have great customer service skills. If you've got cash handling experience, that's fantastic. But it's about the right personality.
Sure.
And if you're motivated to learn, then the opportunities are endless.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of how I stumbled into my banking career as well. I did a co-op program through my high school. They needed a loan file clerk. And so literally I was taking promissory notes and putting them in file cabinets or taking them out when they were paid off. And here I am as the senior vice president today, over, 24 year period. But, again, it wasn't a career that I thought I set out to. But as I grew in the bank and moved around in the different positions in different areas, like I really appreciated the opportunities that were presented to me. So.
And do you have an internship program here with Frontier Bank, or is that something you all have considered?
I believe we do, because we had one most recently, I believe, in our marketing department.
Okay.
I don't know how formal it is, if it's like every year we have, set many people, but yes, we have had interns before. And as I mentioned, I know Bastrop ISD has an internship program. So I'm familiar with that. I've worked with those interns as well. Yeah.
And I know you've been very involved with BISD, with the education foundation here, supporting stuff like that. It's something I want to get more involved in, and help people who are interested in the real estate career. So you're always an inspiration with what you do in the community. It really is. I admire it a lot. Anything else that you'd like to talk about that maybe I haven't touched on?
I think you did a good job as far as, what the main takeaway that I had hoped that people would get from our interview is have a relationship with your banker. Yeah. Do you know your banker? When you need something financially, or if there's a fraud incident, for example, do you have someone that you can pick up the phone and call or go see in person? Right. There's value in that. And so, take advantage of that. And we have a lot of great community banks here.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Frontier is the best. Brittany's the best. So last thing I want to end on. So we're at this beautiful location on right by the movie theater. What do you? Chestnut is what with the Chestnut location. This is my first time in here, but it is absolutely gorgeous. But I know you have a location in Smithville. What are some of the others? If we're
sure.
Yeah.
So we're headquartered out of Elgin.
Okay.
That's our headquarters. And then Bastrop was the second location. We have Manor, Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Leander, Smithville, and Buda. Okay. So I'm hoping that I didn't miss any in that lineup.
I think you got it covered. But I know you have a location coming downtown Bastrop. Yes. It's been open, but you're going through a renovation project now, which is super exciting. When are we looking? And I'm not going to hold you to any specific time frame, but when are we looking to have that open? And you're going to have a big event? We're going to have a grand opening?
Yes, we will. So renovation started last week, okay. And it's estimated to take about 90 days. So we're hopeful that mid-August, beginning of September, the remodel will be complete. It's going to be executive offices, loan production office. We won't be a full service bank, but you can drive a couple minutes down the road to this location to get your full service banking needs met.
Cool. So. Well, I'm excited. When I saw that location was on the market, I think a lot of people were curious who's going to end up there, and I think y'all are going to be a great fit in addition to downtown. To end off, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they are looking to get a loan or want to establish that community banking relationship?
Sure. I'd say, phone call,
okay.
email, text message.
Okay.
I respond to all of those. If you want to meet in person, I'm open to scheduling an appointment with you at any of the locations, or I can come to you at your business. Mm-hmm. So pretty flexible.
Okay,
there.
Awesome. And I know you got all the information online on the website. I'll be sure to post that with the video. But Brittany, thank you so much for your time today. This has been amazing.
I appreciate it, Judah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.